How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another 5 Bad Disc Golfers production. You are here again with Big Nip, Lil Nip commentary. We are the Nurple Brothers, Andy and Steve. We got ourselves a tough one today at historic Maple Hill Maple Hill Disc Golf Course.
So much snow.
So much snow. Freezing cold. Literally whiteout conditions. Everything is white. It was a tough round. Very tough, cold round, but it is a beautiful course. We get to play at least once a month. We are incredibly lucky to do so. Let's introduce our competitors today. All right, coming out of the porta potties first, we have Mr. Andy Coppage in his wonderful interview gear, just ripping it out over hole number 12. He is the shirtless one.
And our second competitor is West Coast Steve, destroyer of toilets. And yeah, I was really impressed with how ill-prepared you were for this round. Yeah. 3 inches of snow. Oh, low-top shoes? That's a good idea.
And everything cotton? Okay, great. All right, we're at hole number 1. We're playing the blue course today, so it's 367 feet over the notorious pond that everybody loses a disc in at least once. Big play is just get it over the water. Don't care if you're on the left, right, or past the hole. Just don't lose your favorite disc in the water.
There's always a headwind here.
Always a headwind. It's not a good time. So here I am with a destroyer. I'm thinking, yeah, let me just leave it out wide right on the world's slipperiest tee pad.
Yeah. Oh, you really did slip there. And it was such a bad shot. I couldn't find it with the camera.
You can see the giant plume of snow.
This was the best way to follow the disc. It was just like where the snow was coming down from the trees.
So here's Andy trying not to kill himself. Nice little flip up. What disc was that?
That was a Star Destroyer, which normally doesn't flip up for me because I have a noodle arm, but it kind of flipped up because there was a little bit of a headwind.
That was sweet. So here I am. You can already see my low-top shoes are not doing what they're supposed to do. I'm already getting my feet wet.
It's already frozen.
Yeah, so the idea was turnover backhand, and then I just threw it straight across the lake to the other side. So
that would have been really disappointing if there was water instead of ice.
So in forehand, Andy anticipated where that shot was going because he was there before it landed.
I actually ended up with what, like a 30-footer here?
Yep. Just the stiffest chains in the world, frozen solid. Wonderful.
We talked about that in the car.
I'm sorry. All
right, here we are. Hole 2, 337. This is one that's always kind of a challenge. You've really got a really tight gap between these two banks of trees, or you can try to go really high over the right bank. That's really not in play for us, unless you got a ton of power. So we'll see if we can make the gap here. All right, here we go. I'm lining up a forehand Corvette, trying to flip it up and drive it through that gap, which you'll see in a moment.
Such a tough gap to make.
Yeah, but ended up in the middle of the gap. Can't complain about that.
It's like a low clearing, but then it goes uphill, so it's tough to get up there. So here I am with an Avenger SS trying to flip it over. It got decently through.
Those were like the same shots, just with a forehand and a backhand. Although I guess yours got through a little bit further. Just
a touch.
I've been doing that in my backyard a lot, so I figured I'd give a tomahawk a try. Didn't work out there.
Look at my legs already.
Just
little jump putt action.
Actually a good bid there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. As you'll see, my putting is not good for almost the entirety of this round. All right, hole 3, 354 feet. It's a tight little window. It really leads itself to, like, if you can throw an Anheuser shot with an overstable disc, to have it fight back and go uphill. We try it with more understable stuff, try to flip it and have it turn just a bit and then fade back to the left. I don't think we've ever gotten really, really close here, but let's check it out.
I'm throwing the Thunderbird here. Just didn't quite get it over enough, but I got a nice little kiss from that tree.
I forget it's a Thunderbird because you call it the Turtle Bird because of the turtle on. All right, Destroyer. I'm trying to do an Anheuser shot because I thought it'd be cool, and I've never thrown one before. And then I slipped and just threw it directly into the air.
Yeah, you were lucky to find this one because I definitely couldn't find it with the camera.
piggy shot and just kiss a tree and go off the side of the cliff. We're both trying to like adjust to being freezing cold and kind of miserable to be outside.
Yeah, we're about at the point where I can't feel my fingers anymore, and oh, maybe that was it.
All right, big putt. Just trying to do something to get out of these first three with some dignity, and it's just not going to happen.
Oh.
Bottom of the basket. You hate to see it.
Wow, those are some
The chains don't
stiff
move.
chains. All right, here we are at hole 4, 246-foot par 3. For most professional disc golfers, this is an ace run. For the bad disc golfers, this is a bit of a knee knocker. There's a very tight gap at the beginning that you need to hit, and then hopefully you hit it straight so you can get down to the basket. Otherwise, you're likely going to be hitting some trees on your way down there.
Knee knocker. Usually that's the case, but not in this cold. I'm not knocking my knees at 8 points in this freezing cold weather.
So this was where I strategically changed discs a bunch of times to try to ice your fingers, and I think it worked. I can't remember exactly.
It takes a long time, but I decided to put up this graphic so you know how cold I am with my gloves off.
Yeah. That was like a Charlie graphic too with the typo. I love it.
Wait, there's a typo? I have to leave it now.
All right, so I take out my pilot here, and I just can't throw this shot. It's so slippery on the tee pad. So I'm gonna try to do a standstill and use the wood, which I think is technically against the rules. I think you need to be on the brick.
But we're not.
It doesn't really matter. And oh, that was just terrible. Okay.
Well done.
All right. So you step up, doing kind of the same thing with the standstill, and
Completely analyzed.
yeah.
It's a zone. It fights back a little bit and then gets knocked down by a couple trees.
And I remember before that shot being like, Steve, throw and then stand to the right, and then you immediately go to the left, so no one can see where it goes.
Tomahawk Andy's been practicing in his backyard.
I should have just thrown tomahawks the whole day. I would have done a lot better.
Right
It's
now,
a nice little out there, but now you leave yourself a bit of a tester. And there you go.
this happens when I'm not confident. I just leave everything right. It's bad. Miserable. Andy nails it. All right, hole number 5, 262-foot par 3, out over the water. You have to have a forehand or a turnover backhand. We've always thrown forehands here because it's the only thing we feel confident making the gap with. There is a gap to the right that some other of the bad disc golfers would take, but it's just guaranteeing a par. We like to go for it and potentially lose discs. Here's Andy's first throw. A lot of hyzer on it.
And sort of knifed in there, and I wasn't so sure about it. You told me that I was safe, so that was great.
I thought you were. All right, so here's my forehand attempt. I slip. I leave it way flat and shorter than I wanted to. And it just didn't skip all the way there.
All right, so here we are in the drop zone, which is a little bit closer. Still a little daunting, but at least you don't have the gap to deal with.
Just saw it off because I'm nervous. So here's Andy thinking he's not filming.
Yeah, at least make one highlight putt or something to make this all worthwhile.
Wait for it.
Oops.
And then this is what ended up happening with Andy's disc. Just barely out of bounds. And here he is delicately trying to fetch it. He doesn't get cold and chilly.
And then I had to go all the way back to the drop zone. And I'm pretty happy with that, for sure. I feel like this is a putt I should make. And it did.
Nails it. I made one too.
Here we are on hole 6. This has to be one of the harder holes on the course, but also super fun. You got a really narrow gap, downhill. You need to put it perfectly straight to have any chance. Steve got his foot wet on the last hole, and he's really cold now, so I feel like I have the advantage. So let's see how we do. All right, so I still have the box here.
This is the least birdied hole in all of disc golf and approach tour.
Yeah, I believe that. Oh, and it just kind of sawed it off. I was having some real trouble with the footing. I think the forehand was probably the right play here. Oh, man.
Crushed it.
Got some maple syrup out of that one.
I mean, the hope is to turn it over and let it fade back, but like skip back towards the basket.
Oh, this has to be a candidate for worst shot of the day. So bad. Don't know why I was throwing a forehand there. So many things wrong with that shot. You can just hear the wind.
Yeah, these first
It's
like,
cold.
8 holes were miserable.
You can see your socks. Oh, and at least didn't deflect out of bounds. Kept that nice and low.
Here's full effort layup. That doesn't even go close.
So at this point, the conditions are probably the worst that I think we've ever played disc golf in, right?
Yeah, we played in the snow before, but like everything, the trees were covered in snow, so it was whiteout conditions, and it was really cold and windy.
Yeah. And the filming also means you have to take your hand out of your glove, and it just, yeah, it's cold.
It's a miserable way to do it. All right, hole 7 is 256 feet, slightly uphill. It's a pretty narrow path all the way to the basket. Your best bet is like if you have a good mid-range game, throw something that moves a little bit to the right and then fades back to the left. I always try and throw like a buzz here and either turn it over or hit a tree really, really hard. So let's see what we got. Is that your buzz? What is that?
I don't know.
Well, doesn't matter.
Ugh.
It almost comes all the
Oh,
way
man.
back.
That was close to being further on the next shot than it was on the first one.
And here's Buzz, as always. Gonna slip and die for sure.
Yep.
You hit the gap there. At least the first one.
You niced me on
that's
commentary.
I know. I feel like that's a win though. All right, so I'm trying to do this escape shot here.
No.
It went a little high, hit a tree.
Had a good chance. It was the right shape. Turboard approach. 3 throws, 3 trees.
Yeah.
No,
This,
not yet.
this
Hold
is
on.
when it started to go downhill.
now
At this point in the round, I was like pretty happy with how I was doing. I went out of bounds once, but I had the birdie on one.
Yeah, 5 Bad Disc Golfer's name is
Yeah.
coming to fruition. I also gotta mention, like, look how high def this video is. I filmed this on a cell phone.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's pretty sweet.
The future is cool.
It sounds like a Beavis and Butthead quote. The future is cool.
Oh, that was really right side. I didn't realize that. All right, hole 8. This is got to be a favorite if you're at Maple Hill, as long as you're not throwing it in the water. This is where the gallery gathers. If you're at the MVP Open, this is just fun. Today it's a challenge. We got a headwind at us. It's still 280 to clear the water, so we'll see how we do.
So factory second Firebird, because I don't care if I lose a factory second. It's our retention.
See, gets a skip off the water. Amazing.
We love it.
So I'm pulling out also a disc that I don't mind losing, which is this new Thunderbird I have, and just never get it over. And off into the water it goes. Yeah. But actually, it was saved by this like little
Peninsula.
Yeah. So I'll plop one next to the basket here.
I haven't made a putt all day. Love it. Love a birdie.
Takes advantage of the good break.
All right, now we're into hole number 9, 226 foot hole. It's downhill. It's a pretty soft putter, maybe a mid-range shot. There's a little bit of water in there. But if you can make the initial gap with something that's floaty, it can get all the way to the basket, land in that clearing. Should be doable, but it can be really tough with headwinds and other things in play. I think this is a piggy shot. Line up the pig.
This is another like mini tee pad.
Tiny.
This shot looks great. It was maybe like 5 feet short, if that. Otherwise parked.
Feels like the best shot I've thrown on that hole.
Yeah. Throwing my buzz here. Turn it over. And bye-bye. Oh, wait. Gets a deflection.
When you're ready.
It looks like somebody caught it and threw it back.
It really does. That was gone forever otherwise.
Terrible way up the was trying to. That's me trying to run it. It's not a good run.
A little right on that putt.
Not great.
All right, here we are after 9 holes. We've got a colorful scorecard on our hands. We've got 2 birdies, but unfortunately the double bogeys outnumbering those birdies 2-1. McGuire at +7, myself at +5, but going downhill rapidly. Hole 10 is a 492-foot par 4. You've got to get a really straight shot out to the base of the hill, which then goes up towards the castle. That requires quite an arm, which none of us really have.
Yeah, max distance everything on this hole. It's cold and wet. And there's Andy tucked deep into the woods. I believe he's throwing forehand. Yeah, something nice with his decently tracked.
Oh, so that was a little deep. I didn't even realize that when I threw it.
Yeah, you have to put it on like a lot of hyzer to actually make that corner, but it's difficult.
And that, I think, is exactly what you're trying to do there.
Yeah. If you can land on the red tee pad, that's probably ideal, so you can just use the tee pad again.
Yeah, for sure. This is a tough, like, uphill run up to a shot that is farther than I can throw. And not surprisingly.
Fucking Christ. Yeah, just knocking snow off trees.
Yeah. Let's see what I got after that.
Yep.
You're going with the backhand here. This is a pretty good rip.
Yeah, I couldn't get everything into it. I should be able to reach that from there, but with the foot in the way it was, it's just not going to happen.
I'm leaning way out here.
Yeah. That wasn't bad. I mean, you're pin high from a knee. That's not too shabby.
A little too much focus on the speed and not enough on the angle there. Oh. That was summertime. That was going all the way back down the hill. And,
miserable. Here's Andy above the pin.
sounds like you're huffing and puffing real hard on the camera there.
Dude, it was a long climb, man.
Here we are, hole 11, maybe signature hole number 2 on this course. You're throwing out over the field of Christmas trees, a few of which I've cut down for my own personal Christmas trees, mostly out of hate, because it's very hard to get a good drive on this hole. It's 660 feet. Throw it out there as far as you can and stay in the middle. If you're behind a Christmas tree, it's going to be in a tough shape.
This is my favorite hole because you can throw it as hard as you want, and the tee pad was dry.
That was a real solid rip. Got a nice little amount of turn, and then here it comes back somewhere.
It was just short of the white basket, probably like 40 feet short of the white basket.
Throwing my somewhat new Corvette, so it's not quite as flippy, but it flips pretty good in that headwind.
It was a nice turn, yeah, look at that.
And it ends up a little bit on the left side, but you know, I'm happy with that.
This day and age, we don't end up in the first bank of Christmas trees very often. We've gotten away from that, but in the beginning, we were always looking for discs in those stupid trees.
Yep.
That was a healthy forehand, and you can't really tell where it's going until that. All right.
This is a fantastic look. I mean, you got basically nothing in your way as long as you get over that one kind of stubbly one.
Yeah, this is ideal, right?
Yeah.
So I have a Firebird, which is super overstable, and
Yeah.
I just turn it. I somehow turn it over.
To anybody watching this video, if you have a really fancy house that can fit a 30-foot Christmas tree, please cut down those Christmas trees and bring them home to get them out of the way.
The chains.
Yeah, whoever out of our 200 views this video is hopeful to get.
Yeah.
If any of you can afford to have a 30-foot Christmas tree in your home, please do this.
I wonder what the demographic is like. You think we got some people with $1 million homes watching this video?
I don't think we're
Probably
appealing to those folks. Simon Lizotte has $1 million now,
Yeah, that's right.
but I don't think he's watching these videos.
No, probably not.
All right. Favorite moment of the day.
I got a little camera shy there.
Andy's also pee shy on top of being camera shy. Can't do anything around this man.
This is...
I felt rushed because of the...
All right, hole 12, 360 feet. It feels longer than that because it's pretty uphill and it's over a bank of trees. Best bet is something flippy to go up the hill, turn a bit, and fade back. But you got to clear those trees. If you hit those trees hard, it's going to be tough to find it, and it's going to be tough to get out of it. Let's see what happens. I think I have the box here. I'm with my destroyer, and I just turn it over. Lucky enough to clear the trees, though.
You got just enough to get over that first group, which is kind of the important thing.
Be in the field. I just love this.
Candidate number 2 for worst shot of the day just digs it into the base of the very first Christmas tree.
Just so you know. All right, keep an eye on this forehand. I don't know where it came from, but there's a substantial amount of power that comes off this thing. Wait for it.
All right, incoming.
You can hear it take off like a jet engine. And it's a standstill. I mean, he's high in the basket. It was a great shot. Look at my back foot just covered in snow.
Yeah.
I'm so stupid.
All right, so this is what, like a 20-footer, 25-footer maybe?
Let's call it 20.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh.
Why can't I
I think you said you were going to try something cool, and then you just ended up hitting
I
this
did.
tree.
I said I was going to run it,
Yeah.
which I did. Just not well.
Oh, God. Putting so poorly.
It's just not, disc golf is not the same when it doesn't make the chain sounds. All right, hole 13, 472-foot par 3. It's very downhill. The gap is like reasonably sized, but it's really hard to get the disc on the right angle, making sure that you don't turn it over or fade out left early. One of our fellow bad disc golfers threw a probably 560-foot shot in this hole one time. It was amazing.
It was great.
Yeah, but that's the only time anyone's ever really done a good job on this. All right.
I threw a pig, not really super fast, but I actually landed in the gap, which is something I don't do often.
Looks like I'm throwing my eagle here and just put it nose down, just like the previous hole. You can see that big spot on my back. It's from this bag, which just like carries the snow with me. So it's like carrying a freezer pack with you.
That's the ideal spot to be in for somebody who has a forehand. So here I am with a glitch. I'm going to jump putt with a glitch. Who knows? Who knows what that was supposed to be?
Yeah, just didn't quite get there.
I really want to make the glitch work, but I just don't know how.
Yeah, you do like irrationally love the idea of that disc, just not the realization of that disc. Oh,
Finally makes a putt.
that looked pretty solid there.
Happy about it. All right, hole 14, 292 foot. This is a signature hole here. Out over the water. Got a spike hydrant into the side of the hill that basket's resting on. Right now, the entire lake is ice, and the tree that's overhanging the tee pad is covered in snow, so it's hanging down low. And me and Andy are tall guys, so it's kind of counterproductive.
It's like trying to throw a disc out of the end of a car wash.
Yeah.
Like there's just all these things hanging down, and you have to like somehow avoid them while also not slipping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on all the soap.
We should have been on the right side.
Yeah. So he just launches it outright. But like there's some ice, so maybe you'll get over there, but
And then right there just starts
no.
spinning in place.
You get like this really cool but sad effect. And plop.
And now I have to use my other Firebird, which is like my favorite. It was an ace Firebird, so I can't lose it. I refuse.
So I think I'm throwing the river that I don't really care for right here. Also trying to avoid everything. Just kind of turn it over. And there it goes.
You actually skip
I
over
skip over your disc.
Did you just skip off my disc?
It's me with my glove in my mouth.
So we couldn't find the drop zone on this hole. This is when, yeah, the round is really unraveling, especially for me at this point. And did you go in the water there?
No, I think I landed safe,
Nice.
but that's a scary hill
Yeah.
for the snow. That's a really good backhand.
That was a good
approach
shot.
for somebody
Yeah.
who's terrified of that
I
shot.
should just throw that shot for all of my shots and I'd be okay. Nice little putt there. Had people watching at this point. Glad I made that one. All right, hole 15. This is a 312-foot par 3. There's a bunch of trees early that if you hit, you end up in those mountain laurels, which is kind of a challenge down in the valley. But what you're really trying to do here is just get to the right, but not too early. If you do that, you'll have a putt.
Mountain laurel.
Mountain laurel.
Professor Sprout teach you that?
State plant of Connecticut, little known fact. All right. So you put this like kind of straight, but it it finishes right, and you get that. So that's not the basket.
No.
But yeah, you gotta like maybe an outside the circle putt there.
There's an inside gap that I contestants the best gap. That's the inside gap, which is not the best route.
Yeah, I kind of overcorrected after watching you put it too straight. I was trying to get that to flip up a little bit more.
Really liking his pilot forehand shot.
Yeah, forehand putter.
That was a good
Yeah,
run.
flash the basket. Decent.
Yeah, 30, 40 feet here.
My friend Dennis would be proud of me. Oh!
Nails it. Thumbs up for the people.
Points at the audience.
Hole number 16. Famous hole if you watched Kevin Jones ace this bad boy. That is not what we're going for. We are going for the basket much shorter and further to the right. We both just throw forehands as hard as we can up the middle, let it fade out. Hopefully lands pretty close. This is a potentially birdieable hole.
Just like Kevin Jones, the slip very much in play here.
Very, very much in play. He did it in the summertime.
Leaves it a little high. That's the one good thing about the snow. It's hard to see the disc, but if you hit something, you can kind of see where it was going.
Yeah, this is the right height for snow. Like 3 inches is good. If you're in a foot, you're gonna lose all your discs.
That just looked like I wasn't even trying at all. I think at this point I'm frozen solid.
Yeah, we were just thinking about Burger King.
This is like the Tin Man or something. So I made it maybe 40 feet past the, and then I just launched this as hard as I possibly can in anger, and it does a nice little flex shot that looks like it's headed towards the gold basket.
Yeah, that was like the forehand that you threw on like 12, just pure violence and hate, and
Correct.
It went so far.
You had a little case of the Del Senores there, leaving that short.
Yeah, anemic upshots.
Yeah.
Graded them.
And
Parked.
that was fine. So you got another outside the circle putt here. And fire emoji after that one.
Coming alive.
Yeah.
Coming alive.
I guess the key to your putting is not being able to feel your fingers. All right, here we are, hole 17. This is a 360-foot uphill, super uphill par 3. It used to be a par 4 that started up higher on the hill. You'd throw it over some Christmas trees and then hit the woods. Now you have to deal with these what look like Polynesian wood carvings covering these 2 trees, which make for like a sort of artificially narrow gap to start.
Yeah, it's a super tight gap, but if, the amount of people that hit these trees, they'd be dead in less than a year. Those things are beat up, man. Look at them. Looks like someone poured glue all over them. Oh, Bigfoot had his way with the Polynesian wood carvings. So Andy nicks a tree and just ends up in the worst possible spot. Thank God there's no 2-meter rule here at Maple Hill.
Yeah, at this point in the round, I'm pretty distraught. My disc is up in a tree. There's people behind us laughing at me. We offered to let them play through, but they're like, no, we got to see this. And so here we are trying to fish this disc out of a tree.
We want to observe your shame.
Yeah. No, we want to see more. So I did finally get it out of the tree, but of course had nothing and managed a really, really bad out. And now it's time for the upshot. And the disc was wet.
And we just feel like jerks because we're playing poorly and filming every single shot, like alternating handing the camera into somebody else. So please, if we ask you to play through, just do it. We're like bad people.
There's so much sighing on this video. This is like when trying to move my dog from the couch. It's just like, why?
Hole 18, Andy forgot to take a picture of the sign because his hands were frozen and he was disappointed in his performance in the last hole. Pretty long shot, pretty uphill. You have to get into the initial field, miss some trees, so that you can debate if you want to go for the island green with a big ripping forehand or if you want to lay up. But there are a lot of out of bounds off to the right.
I'm a master debater.
Yes you are.
As Steve takes a rip on this and manages to go out of bounds on the right.
Yeah, I thought turnover shot would be a good idea, but I just turned it over into oblivion.
I'm taking out my strike here, which I don't think I've thrown the whole day. These are kind of high.
It's a really good shape. I mean, like, ideally you want to curve it like that around that bank of trees and have it fade out. Here's forehand.
Solid layup. This time you didn't leave the disc on top of the clubhouse, which you were then too embarrassed to go ask them for, and then later they did get it and get it back to you. So
yeah, basically
kudos
from
to
where
Maple
Andy's
Hill.
standing, I threw a forehand as hard as I could, and it ended up on the roof and slid down to the balcony. and I didn't realize I had access to that place, so I just went home.
Yeah, it's like if you break like a neighbor's window and you just scatter.
Yeah.
Like that was what you did when you threw it up there.
Nice, easy approach forehand. Just textbook. All right, so this is out of bounds. This is like it before that second wall and after this first wall is out of bounds.
Lining up the jump putt. Oh. Leaves it short and goes out of bounds again. Gets to advance maybe 10 feet.
Just
And at
embarrassing.
least didn't put that one into the wall.
Why did I do that, man? Is the key phrase for any time we're playing disc golf. And there we have it, folks. A wonderful round here at Maple Hill. Freezing cold, awful conditions, but the best course in the entire world. We're lucky to play it.
After 18 holes, we are 25 strokes above par between the two of us. There's 3 birdies on the card and lots of doubles and that fancy triple that you managed on 18. Not our best work. You ended up at plus 11, which was plus 4 on the back, pretty solid. Myself at plus 14, and just a struggle.
Bad times. Here's my worst shot of the day. Avenger that was supposed to turn over, instead I threw it right across the lake. And as you can tell, the basket is that way.
This is my worst shot of the day. Just rifling it right into the bottom of this Christmas tree. That one, you're my Christmas tree next year.
And a little bonus, because I love that putt.
Ugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Nurble Brothers. This has been another 5 Bad Disc Golfers production. Bad disc golfers playing all around the New England area. Please like and subscribe for more disc golf content. We will see you next time.